All right, here we go. How's the weather out in Colorado? You guys doing all right out there?
Yeah, we survived snow.
I hear you.
I got about a foot.
About a foot. Goodness gracious.
Well, a little bit over, actually, yeah.
Well, it's been raining here the last couple of days. It's been killing me, but because I love to do stuff outside. Because the temperature's been pretty good, but
we got some good
so
snow
anyway,
built in our neighborhood.
did you out front?
Yeah, we did.
Well, cool. Well, I guess it's time to talk about two of our favorite teams. Both seem to be in the same boat this evening. So we're going to talk a little Big Ten basketball, and we're going to talk a little Big 12 basketball. Of course, in the Big 12, it would be the Houston Cougars, who were the conference champions going into the championship game today. And we had the Nebraska Cornhuskers going into the Big Ten semifinals today. And it's no big secret, both teams blew it handily. Both teams blew it badly. So, Kulik, how you been? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Good.
Awesome.
Winning some money today and watching, my Huskers get annihilated. Yeah, good day.
Good day. Well, the money helps, I know. So tell me a little bit about the Big Ten this year. What'd you think about the conference? I know that the championship game is tomorrow, but give us a little rundown of how the conference went and how your Nebraska boys did.
Yeah, well, actually, if you don't mind me throwing a little audible, I kind of want to talk about the women's
go right ahead.
Championship game.
Go right ahead.
We had the Nebraska Cornhusker women against the Iowa Hawkeyes and Caitlin Clark. We had that a week ago about.
Right.
But that was an incredible game, which came down to it, and they even need a little extra time to do it. But that was an amazing, amazing game. And I got to tell you, the Nebraska Husker women, they showed up. They were, especially for that first half, kind of like Nebraska men's today, which we'll get to. They shut Iowa out pretty good in the first half, and even kept the lead towards the third and fourth quarters in women's basketball. But that fourth quarter, they just gave it to Caitlin Clark, and she does Caitlin Clark stuff, and at the last minute, Nebraska just couldn't handle it. So, but I think Nebraska women's basketball will be good. I think they're going to be in the tournament, and I think they'll do good.
Oh, good.
Now pivoting to Nebraska men's basketball. I know talking about Nebraska basketball is something, because especially on the men's side, it just doesn't happen.
Exactly.
And so now, the Nebraska men's make it to the semifinals after last night just annihilating Indiana Hoosiers. There was a lot of fun pictures on the internet going around with Casey Tamanaga that said, "Who's your daddy?" And that was fun. Turned out to be short-lived.
Yeah, well. Sometimes those memes only have a short life cycle.
It did. And so, going into today's game, I had some hope because, Illinois, they weren't 100% healthy. They had most of their health, but, they barely pulled it out against Ohio State. Yeah. So I was really hoping, like, man, we're on fire. The Huskers men are on fire. They're going to go in there and they're going to light it up. And you know what? In that first half, Nebraska did exactly that. They lit them up. Even into the second half, they were leading at one point, 55-40.
Yes.
And then the wheels on the train just came falling off. And, here's the thing. Casey Tamanaga was pretty well covered by Illinois' Shannon most of the game. He got some nice shots out there. He drove the ball pretty nice, but overall, Shannon was just on him like flies, and it really showed, I think, because he couldn't he just couldn't get his open shots well enough, and he was just oversized.
Mhm.
In the
Yeah,
first,
that's the other half of it. Yeah.
yeah, he was just oversized, and I
Mhm.
noticed that. And
Mhm.
I was like, well, maybe we can just still do it because
Mhm.
they call Casey Tominaga the Japanese Steph Curry,
Yes. Uh-huh.
and he showed that because he was doing some
Mhm.
decent fadeaway shots today.
Yes. Yes.
That that was the only way he was when he was being teamed up and had
Mhm.
Shannon right in his face. That's the only thing he could do, and he did a
Mhm.
couple of them. It just he didn't do enough of them. So
He did. What reminds me of Curry is the fact that he is always on the move, and he'll come around one of those screens on the off the baseline there and pop open for a quick shot, and he'll get it off quick. He's got a good quick release.
yeah, yeah, he
Mhm.
does. He
Mhm.
does, and he just gets the crowd going in it. So
Oh, they love him.
I know when he's on fire and the crowd gets going, I have so much confidence in that
Mhm.
Huskers team.
Mhm.
So we'll see what amounts out of it in the tournament. They were projecting that Nebraska is going to be a 9 seed.
Uh-huh.
I could see that. I maybe maybe have an argument for maybe an 8 seed
Mhm.
coming in to obviously doing well in that first half.
Mhm.
Just couldn't get the second half. But man, had
Mhm.
they won that,
Yeah. That'd have
even
been
if
really
they had,
nice.
yeah, even if they had won the Big Ten championship, which I think they would have had a good chance,
Mhm.
because it wasn't going to be against 80 and Purdue,
Mhm.
but it just didn't pan out that way. But I think they'll have a number 9 seed, and I think they can do some work. Nebraska men's basketball is the only D1 school that has never ever won a big dance game.
Are you serious?
I am serious.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Well, if they're going to be a 9 seed, I believe the first matchups are 8 nines. And
Yeah. So
yeah, so
should be pretty even then.
they're going to play someone that's of their caliber, and we'll see how that goes. But the 8-9 matchups are always fun because after that they play the number one, I believe, or something
Oh,
like that. Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I wonder what region of the country they'll be in. If they're in the South, you know who they're going to have to come through. They're going to have to come
Yep.
through Houston.
But hey, that's going to make for a great conversation with you and I if they do make
Yes,
it
it
that far.
will. Yes, it will. I might have to sleep on the couch for a couple days, but because the wife is a big Nebraska fan, as you know.
Yep.
But as we shift gears over to the Coug game, I have no update on the women. Houston Cougar Lady Cougs are not that good, and so I have no update on them in the tournament. But I do have an update on the men, and as you know by now, we got handled pretty badly. And to be honest with you, I really kind of expected it. And as we were talking earlier, I probably would have bet that they would have lost this game, not to the extent that they did, but just that I think they probably would. And the reason for it is health, just straight up health. The Cougs are very thin at the moment. As some people know who follow the team, three of their rotation players are out for the season. One of them may be back for if they make the Final Four. He might be back by then. He had a meniscus sprain, so he's been out for about 8 weeks. He'll be out for about 8 weeks, and that's right around the time of that. But the other two, Tugler and Arsenault, are out for the year. Arsenault tore up his Achilles like after the first maybe 8 games of the year, and then Tugler about 2 weeks ago fractured his foot. And those were key players. I mean, they were they were rotation players. They were getting a lot of playing time and could definitely have been used today. But as you know, they were out. And then last night against Texas Tech, Juwan Roberts had a shin contusion, which caused him to play limited minutes yesterday, and he only played 13 minutes today. And he's like their number 2 or 3 scorer on the team, is their number one rebounder, is a great defender underneath. The problem with the Cougs is they have Arsenault and Tuggle were big men,
Yeah.
and now they only have three guys over about 6'6", 6'7". Okay, and so they really have no big men down low. They do have a pure freshman, Cedric, who is he is a pure freshman. He's not really ready to go. He would not have been in the rotation, but it's just one of those things. And so they came in very shorthanded against the number 6 team in the country, and they did their best, but they just didn't have it today. And I think they were tired, having to play so many minutes because the bench is so thin. There's a lot of excuses that I can make, although I know Kelvin Sampson is not making any excuses. But we'll see what happens next week. Hopefully Roberts is ready to go. If Roberts is ready to go next week, they've got a shot to get through the first weekend. If he's not ready to go and he's only going to give us 13 minutes like he did tonight, then we're going to be in trouble again. But hopefully, I still think we're going to be a number 1 seed coming out of the day here. I think we'll be a number 1 seed. And in addition to being a number 1 seed, I'm thinking that they'll put us in the South region. And I'll do what I can to get over there to Dallas to see the boys play. But so I'm hoping they stay at number 1 and they get to go to the South, because it looks like it's going to be North Carolina, it's going to be Purdue, it's going to be UConn, and it's going to be us. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. They may have to ship us out someplace, and if they do, I'll be disappointed. But we didn't look good today, and so as coming in as the number 1 team in the country, after that loss, we'll probably still get a number 1, but we might be the 3rd or 4th number 1. So that's sad.
If there was a chance, and I think I agree with you that Houston will still get a number 1. Who do you think would challenge them for that potential number 1 seed if it wasn't them?
Well, if it wasn't them, it might be Iowa State, to be honest with you, because because number 1, they beat us twice this year.
Yeah.
Okay. They beat us at their place. We beat them at our place. And then on a neutral court today, they beat us again. They crushed us. They're the number 6 seed in the country right now. So they would be a solid 2. And, we'll see what happens. But the good news is Purdue lost.
Yeah.
Okay. And as the time of this broadcast, as far as I know, North Carolina was down a bunch. And we're hoping that we're hoping that UConn gets handled today, so that we can all 4 celebrate in losing. But that would keep us all number 1 seeds. But we'll see. Iowa deserved it today. I mean, they came out, they played hard. Granted, we were shorthanded, but that's, again, I can come up with a lot of excuses, but Kelvin Sampson is not coming up with any excuses. We should have just played better. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, UConn did just beat Marquette.
Oh, did they? Okay.
They did. Okay. And it was I believe it was right around 10 points. But so they did win.
Okay.
But I could see that Iowa State probably be the only team that would maybe challenge Houston for the number 1 spot. But
that's the only one I can see. Yeah.
Purdue losing will definitely help that conversation too. Because I don't see Purdue losing a spot. Losing the number 1, and if they lost to Wisconsin and Houston lost to Iowa State, who's gonna arguably be a number 2, like you said, then I don't see Houston going anywhere. So
I think they'll stay at number 1. Well, let's turn our attention to the big dance. We've already talked about all the number 1 teams. Who do you think might win? Like I said, personally, if Houston was healthy, I think it might be. It could have been them easily. But who do you think might win the big dance at this point?
Well, my bank wants to think. My bank account wallet is going to say the Nebraska Cornhuskers, only because I put $20 down, and that would pay out pretty nice.
There you go.
So, but realistically, Kellen or Kulik speaking is gonna probably go. I don't think Purdue is going to do it. I don't think they have the defense, and they proved that today. That I don't believe they have the defense to do it, because if you could come up with a solution to 80. They don't really have much else as they kind of showed. So I got to rule out Purdue. Houston's banged up right now.
Yeah.
So depending on how the contusion with Roberts comes, but UConn's looking pretty scary right now.
Mhm.
And they didn't beat a slouch in Marquette. Marquette's
No.
always a good basketball program.
They're a top 10, top 12 team
Yeah,
somewhere in there. I don't know exactly, but yeah, they've been ranked pretty high all year long.
yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then we could talk about the Tar Heels, where
Yeah.
they could do it well. If I had to make a guess right now, I'm probably going to go UConn.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with you on that one. I think that UConn is they've always been even last year, this year as well. They're one of those teams that are just an all around good team. Good solid team, good solid coaching, um, and they've been in the top four most of the year. They've had some ups and downs, winning and losing, but for the most part, they've stayed up in the top four, top five all year round. So I would say so. I don't. I think as we talked earlier, I think that Purdue is overrated. I
Yeah.
think that I think that they've got a lot of holes that get covered up by their big guy Edney,
Mhm.
and I just think that they're not a complete team. They could beat some teams pretty handily as a result of their big guy, who's huge. Don't get me wrong, he's great. He's a great ball player, but around him, I don't see much. I don't see
Sure.
much. Yeah, and North Carolina's, we'll see. We'll see. I think that that's a very good team, and they will give UConn everything that UConn wants, but I still think UConn will come out ahead if it goes chalk all the way up to the Final
Sure.
Four being all the number ones, which never happens, by the way. And but if it does happen, I think that we've got it's no brainer for UConn to be the out and out champion. Although anything can happen, that's why we put our brackets together. And
That's right.
yep. So what I was thinking for the maybe sometime in the middle of the week, maybe Tuesday or early Wednesday. All of the sports page pundits will get out their brackets, and we'll get a little bracket challenge going on with all of the hosts and see how who gets the best bracket and who comes out the winner in this thing. How does
All
that sound?
right. Now my bracket buster is gonna make the real world. All right.
There you go. See,
No.
nobody.
Oh,
It's
go
a, it's.
ahead.
I think you got like a 1 in a million chance or 1 in a million and a half chance or something like that to actually call all of the games in the tournament.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Years ago, I will tell you, I think back in like 2010 was the best bracket I ever did.
Hmm.
And I remember I joined ESPN's league, whatever it was, and I was in the top, what was it, top 4%, I think it
Oh
was, top
wow.
4 or 5% of brackets
Hmm.
that were accurate. And I
Wow.
remember they were doing this really awesome giveaway. I forgot who it was with. It was some mortgage company, I think, that they're
Hmm.
doing it with, where you could have made some good money. I never
Wow.
did, but I
Uh-huh.
had a good bracket that year.
Oh
And
wow.
every other year I've done it before and after
Hmm.
that, it's terrible.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Same here. On occasion I'll pick, I'll pick pretty well one of the regions, and then one of the other regions is like so blown out of the water it's not even funny. But I got to admit, I think it's a fun challenge. What I enjoy most is kind of researching a little bit and kind of picking some underdogs to upset some big dogs. That's kind of one of the things I enjoy doing, which usually results in a busted bracket. But
Yeah, yeah.
but but I do like to see those number 10 seeds beating somebody, the number 4 slot or something like that. I enjoy that. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's always fun. So yeah, I would love to go over our brackets, see how it's going. And I think what we need to do, in fact, if you and I want to do it right now, we could pick maybe our sleeper, maybe our low seed sleeper that we're not thinking. I know it
So
hasn't all been formed yet officially,
true,
but
true, true,
we
true.
can always take a stab at it.
We could take a stab at it. I'm thinking that your sleeper is not Nebraska.
No.
Okay. just 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 thought I'd throw that out there. Just thought I'd check. Just thought I'd check.
No.
Okay. What do you consider? What's your definition of a sleeper?
I'd say 11 seed and on.
Ah, okay, okay. Because I do have a long shot that I think has a shot at winning the whole thing, and of course, it's a Big 12 team. It is not Houston. It is not Iowa, but it could be Baylor.
Okay.
They'll be a number 3 seed though, so it doesn't fit your definition. But let me think about who might do that. Maybe I don't have a good enough handle on that just yet. But if you
That's
do, go
fair.
ahead and spill the beans.
That's fair. Mine's going to kind of come out of left field here. I think New Mexico is going to make a little bit of a run.
New Mexico.
I think they are.
If I'm not mistaken, on the Joe Lunardi board, they're like the first team in, so they're like going to be way low on that totem pole.
Yep.
Ah.
Yep, they will be, but they've showed some things. They did pretty well in that Mountain West tournament. So,
Yeah, they did. They did.
So, and I watched them a little bit, and I'm not a New Mexico Lewis fan at all, but
Mhm.
I do think that they could maybe make a run at it. So,
All right.
definitely what I would not do is have them out on their first game.
I hear you.
So,
I hear you.
so,
Okay,
yeah.
cool. Well, I guess tomorrow is bracket Sunday, and we'll find out who's playing what, where, and when. Let's get back together again. Like I said, maybe Tuesday, maybe Monday, or even Wednesday. Because I think, when do the play-in games start? Wednesday.
I believe so. Yes.
Okay, so we may wait maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, and we'll give it a run. And once I see the brackets tomorrow, I'll be able to have a better idea of who's playing what, and I'll give you some long shots.
Yeah, fantastic. Cool. I'll join in with you on that.
Awesome. We'll get Sooner and maybe some of the other guys to join in with us. Sounds good?
Absolutely.
So let me give you a shot to give out a shout out. Who are you going to give your shout out to before I let you go?
I already kind of talked about him, but I want to give a shout out to Nebraska women's basketball. They put on a heck of a season. They're not done yet because they're going dancing, and they almost took down the Caitlin Clark. So,
very much so, very much so. And I got to tell you, the Caitlin Clark, they have a shot at winning that whole women's thing too.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I'm not a big South Carolina fan, but I know they're number one, and they typically have been number one for the last couple of years. But I don't know. I'm thinking that maybe Caitlin Clark in her final season might be able to do a little damage there for Iowa there. So, Anyway, time for us to roll on out of here. Kulik, another fine show with you. Good luck to Nebraska as they enter the tournament. Hopefully my team gets a little healthy and we could do a little damage. But in any case, time for us to fly, my friend. We'll see you next time, buddy. Thanks.